Welcome to the Sleuth Intuition YouTube channel. Sit back, relax and chillax for a few.
Just take it easy, man.
You know, that's your answer for everything, dude.
Now just go, oh. What? Do it, man. Oh, 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 shit.
Don't be a scrub. Hit the thumbs up.
Happy birthday, Mark.
Welcome to the Sleuth Intuition YouTube channel. Sit back, relax and chillax for a few.
Just take it easy, man.
You know, that's your answer for everything, dude.
Now just go, oh. What? Do it, man. Oh, 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 shit.
Charged with the murder of her older sister, charged as an adult for
for a crime which she admitted to when she called police last night. According to court documents, when police arrived to the Miller family home on Clayton Road in Manheim Township just after 1 a.m., they were met by 14-year-old Claire Miller, covered in blood, who said repeatedly, "I stabbed my sister," before pointing officers to a bedroom.
That's an unusual occurrence just in and of itself.
Inside, police say they found 19-year-old Helen Miller, who was wheelchair-bound, with a large knife in her neck. Crews tried life-saving measures, but they were unsuccessful. Now investigators want to know what led up to the stabbing.
Looking for evidence and trying to come up with a timetable and whatever to help them, whatever they can find to help them understand what might have happened.
Officers believe the girl's parents were home but asleep when the stabbing took place.
My heart goes out to them, and I can't even begin to understand or imagine the pain that they feel at this moment.
So Claire was arraigned this morning on one count of homicide and is being held here without bail. Chief Rzazinski says he doesn't know of any prior problems with the teenager. Investigators are now looking into her social media and technology profiles for clues. In Lancaster County, I'm Meredith Jorgensen, WGAL News 8.
Wow. What a way to start the 4th of July live stream, huh? And she was the younger sister as well. 14 years old verse 16. Well, how's everybody doing? Happy birthday, United States. Jill, how are you? Glenn, what's up? Yep. I think she was in a wheelchair and then also handicapped in other ways. Hey, lesbian. What's up, Tex Cut? Or should I say streamer? I saw that, Marv. I didn't get a chance to kind of look at it completely, but yeah, I just didn't want, I really didn't want to look at it. Yeah, it's disgusting. And, she was only 14 years old. What, she's obviously not healthy, A normal person doesn't just go, you know what, I'm sick of my handicapped older sister. I'm just going to go stab her right in the neck. So the point of that, showing that, is that it could really happen to anybody. This was a really successful household, upper class. There's no reason for it other than what I'm thinking is possibly psychotropic. What's up, Callie? Yeah, Chicago needs to calm down. The problem with Chicago is it's a real small, it's like a few neighborhoods that are killing each other. And the rest of Chicago's like, hey, if they're just going to stay there in those neighborhoods, who cares? Yep. It's crazy. It's like the Wild West over there. You can walk into Chicago, step off the airplane, go into the big city and see how magnificent it is. And you take a wrong left turn and you're in just some lower income housing. And then, boom, they're shooting back and forth. And nobody's stopping it. Yep, 16 years old. Has nothing to do with politics. It has everything to do with personal responsibility. Criminals. I mean, right now, let's say they passed a law in the United States where they took away the Second Amendment. That's not going to stop me from carrying guns. So all you're doing is taking something that was once lawful and making it illegal. But to me, it's a necessity. I'm not going to have somebody come into my home with a gun and leave me, render me helpless. What, I look like an idiot? Well, let me take that back. I'm not an idiot. Now you should be able to now under federal law. Federal law states that I don't think states can infringe upon those rights. I could be wrong. Yep. Happy 4th of July, everybody. I just wanted to jump on here and see if you guys wanted to hang out, see if anybody was available. I have about 2 hours to kill. And I had a bunch of videos I was going to put together for a live stream. But I might just show all the content today. Yep, Jill. I wouldn't say the country's gone crazy. I just think a lot of people are finally seeing the effects of some social experiments, that have been going on for maybe 20, 30 years now. We're finally starting to see the effects of that. Tax cut? Nope. I have no happy news. I'm sure there's great news. If you want to hear some good news, everything's good on my end. I have no complaints. I'm truly blessed. And I hope the same for everybody out there. Joe B. That's why this upsets me so much. That's why I report on the bad news. It's because I want it to stop. I don't get it. I don't understand it. But my teenage self gets it because I was a criminal. I was riding that thin line where I didn't know the difference between at one point in my life, I thought being in a gang and going to prison was just something that happens. I thought I was preparing myself for that, regardless of having a good family at home. So don't underestimate how misled and how lost our youth is right now. It's 14-year-old kids. Here's a good example right here.
Learned his fate. He beat his girlfriend's little boy to death because he wouldn't stop crying. Brittany Smallwood has more on today's sentencing for us. Hi, Brittany.
Teresa, it was intense at sentencing. The courtroom was packed with family and friends supporting the defendant, Dylan Shoemaker, and the victim's family. As soon as the case was called, Shoemaker walked into the courtroom and started crying, telling everyone how sorry he was.
What a phony.
I didn't mean to kill Austin. Ashley, I really didn't. You really think I did that? I didn't mean to hurt him.
Dylan Shoemaker walked into a state Supreme courtroom pleading his case, telling his victim's mother and the court he's remorseful for what he did. Shoemaker was sentenced Friday for beating 23-month-old Austin Smith last March. Before the sentence was handed down, Shoemaker and his defense attorney fought for the minimum sentence, 15 years to life.
I can't take back what was done. I wish I could. I would give my life for Austin. I loved him a lot.
Austin Smith was completely defenseless. That's a given.
Yeah, this guy's going to get
But
eaten
there were other
alive
dynamics at
in
work
prison.
there, including my client's inability to either control his anger or frustration and his inexperience in babysitting.
Based on his short life now, what is to say he won't do this again?
Well, we don't know that. I think it's completely unlikely. It was a situational, circumstantial thing.
In Judge M. William Bowler's last words to Shoemaker, he told the now 17-year-old that in his short life, he's caused so much despair to so many people. Bowler said he listened intently to Shoemaker's testimony during trial and called him a manipulator who minimizes his actions.
The record will show that you admitted that on July 23, 2013, in a phone call to your mother from the holding center, you stated, and I got a quote from the court reporter, "I am a 16-year-old blonde. Probably all I have to do is cry in front of the jury, and they're going to feel sorry for me," end quote.
Afterwards, Shoemaker was sentenced to 25 years to life behind bars.
He's not crying anymore. As soon as he knew the gig was up, he stopped crying. Yeah, that little boy was so sweet. You know, I just couldn't imagine, as far back as I can remember, probably, 4 or 5 years old. I mean, those were precious times. And this guy, fucking phony. As soon as the judge was like, dude, we're on to you. We knew you were going to come in here crying. Piece of shit. Oh, yeah, definitely some crocodile tears for sure. The judge is like, I'm not having it, dude. And what sucks is that kind of stuff works on me. I have sympathy for people. I would admit that's definitely one of my weaknesses. Purdue says there needs to be a deep dive into why this happens in order to prevent. Is it violent video games? No. Lack of parental oversight? No. Drugs? No. It would never be one common denominator, however. Yeah, it's kind of like all of the above. It's one of the reasons I can't have this conversation with most people, because to me it's a spiritual thing. It's a spiritual battle. So when you try to find the source, to me that is the source. There's always somebody trying to defile us. Evil. Yeah, exactly. Like we're under attack. We just want to kind of go through life, but we're easily tricked and we're easily fooled, and we're slowly kind of just piece by piece, generation by generation, kind of forced into things that we would never ever do naturally. Yeah, we got to learn from it. And the one thing I'm learning is personal responsibility. In all these cases, if the people involved, the perpetrators, would have just taken some personal responsibility, would never happen. Hey, Bogey. Yep, calculated and cold as ice. Yep. Sometimes, you get lost in the whole, if we're killing them, isn't that murder? But yeah, there's no internal debate when it comes to children or, assaulting children, things like that. But you have to be careful because people will use that, sick people, will use that as a reason to perpetrate their violence, and us turn away. When we see these violent murderers and offenders attack child predators, it's easy for us to look away. We're happy to. But really, they know that we will look away or might even applaud that. So it's almost like we're letting them get away with it right in front of us. It's evil using evil to benefit for the benefit of evil. How about Martin Lawrence when he said, if I go to prison, I'm going to be filthy. Grandma said, clench and snap it off. Oh, that's funny. That's good. See, and when I was a kid, I did both. I ran outside. I was mostly outside, but then I would come home and play video games. We had like the Mortal Kombats and the Mario Brothers and the Sonic the Hedgehog and what was the Battletoads and shit like that. Yeah, everything's a spiritual battle. And nowadays it's gotten to the point where you can't just sit down and talk about it. Some people will want to kill you over your politics. Humanity has now become secondary. Yep. Oh yeah, I have 2 games that I play. But they're PC games. I don't even touch my PlayStation 4 or my Xbox, but my wife, she loves games too. She's always playing video games. Yep. I mean, politics is just a tool for power. It's hard. Some people just want to be left alone. Like me, I just want to be left alone. And I don't want to have to see you commit evil. But then other people will say, well, I don't think that that's evil. You think it's evil. I don't think it's evil. And then that's where the politics come in and you start fighting. It's just people's opinions vary. So when you have a democracy, it's like how many of the same opinion, who has the opinion the most, what group of people, and then they're going to go ahead and create the laws because they're in the majority. Diablo 2. Yeah, Diablo 2 is a good one. My brother was into that. I don't like those kind of games. He was into Final Fantasy and all that. I'm not into that. Boom. Yep. It's up to us, Callie, to make sure they don't forget that because they're coming from a good place. And then when they get thrown into this place, this physical realm, it's complete chaos. Yeah, people in general. I mean, think about it. It's not really politics, it's just people. It's like, why are people dividing into political parties? So to me, it's beyond politics. It's people. People are acting funny. Yeah, that's a good point, Allie. Ooh, PS5. I can't wait for the ESPN boxing game to come out. I'm very stoked for that. Hey, what's up, Harvey? How you doing, man? Good to see you, Harvey. Hey, what's up, Frank? Happy birthday, Frank. Marv still here? Oh, wow. Yeah, it's just confusion. It's human behavior. You know, certain people they find out how humans behave and why they behave the way that they do, and then they use that knowledge against us to manipulate us. Sucks. And it's hard to see it if you're not that kind of person. You're like, I would never do that. But it's kind of the same way with true crime, you know. It's like, yeah, you know, not everybody's going to go around killing young children. But when somebody does, we need to figure out why, because it's completely devastating. I mean, look at poor Delphi. They're still suffering. People that have never even been to Delphi are suffering. It's traumatizing, you know. Yeah, I think we're just all suffering, you know. People who are trying to bring us down, they try to I think it's called like they try to produce like mass trauma, it seems like on a global scale, traumatize a whole bunch of people at the same time. It's horrible. It's terrifying. Good to see you're still mixing it up, Harvey.
Shooting that police describe as a prank gone wrong. Residents and city leaders say they're tired of the senseless violence. 3 on your side's Brendan Hall joins us in the studio with more on this story. You have been following this story. Tell us what's going on now.
Well, Jackson police tell us 3 teens pulled up to a friend's house wearing ski masks and holding toy guns that looked real. What was supposed to be a joke ended up as the capital city's 54th homicide of the year.
While Jackson police label Saturday's homicide as justifiable, residents along Village Drive use a different word, senseless.
There's a lot of stuff going on now. People are on edge. You know, you look at somebody wrong and they'll pull a gun on you. They'll want to shoot. You know, people lose their lives for nothing. And so, you know, that was for nothing.
JPD says 15-year-old Christopher Patton and 2 other teens pulled up in front of 16-year-old Joshua Davis's house with masks on and water guns in hand that looked like real assault rifles. That's when Davis pulled out a gun that was real and shot Patton once
Later,
in the
Harvey.
chest. Police say all 4 teens were friends.
Playing with a gun is not a practical joke. It's similar to you pulling a BB gun on a police officer, thinking that police officer knows it's a BB gun or a toy.
Ward 3 Jackson City Councilman Kenneth Stokes says all kids make mistakes, but these kids should have known better.
Guns and fake guns are nothing to play with. In this day and time where people are killing and shooting people over nonsense, don't play like that.
Stokes held a town hall centered around youth violence just days ago. The summit came shortly after 3 teenagers were charged with murder in Jackson in less than 2 weeks. To keep kids out of trouble, the councilman says he's still pushing for the city to adopt a youth curfew, and he also wants to see more parents held accountable.
We need to give some mandatory jail time to these bad parents, allowing these kids to have guns and have these kids out here doing all kinds of senseless killings and robberies.
As of now, JPD says the other 2 kids who were in the car with Patton aren't facing any charges. The same goes for Davis, who was a minor that was in possession of a firearm.
Thank you, Brendan.
Wow. I hate to say it, but I would have done the same thing. If you come screeching into my driveway and you come out of your car holding what appears to be rifles and you're wearing ski masks, yeah, that's not smart. You're asking for it. It sounds like they underestimated their friend. It's not his fault. No, I think they're called sorbies. It's basically like a water-filled, kind of like a airsoft or a paintball gun. It's these little pellets that are filled with water or gel. So when you shoot them, it kind of splashes you. It's kind of a buzz right now. And people are running around having like battles in the middle of the street. Well, apparently these guys had realistic looking ones, which are on the market. And I mean, I'm sure he thought he was about to die. That's funny. Oh yeah, they do hurt. See, I like to play airsoft. Well, I haven't done it in a long time, but I have some gear. But that shit stinks too. It's like getting shot with a regular BB gun. But I've never been shot with those Sorby things. They look cool. They look fun, actually. We have like Nerf wars around my house. We have all kinds of Nerf guns and a million of those little darts. Yeah, we get kind of crazy. Somehow I always get shot right in the eye. Yep, that's true. The guy who shot his friend in the chest and killed him, there was no, it was considered viable. So, you know, he thought he was under attack. I mean, it's safe to say if somebody comes screeching through your front lawn and they jump out of their car holding, you know, rifles, semi-automatic rifles. Yeah, I think if you protect yourself with your gun, I think you're going to be okay. Like New York and California. Those are good examples. Hey, what up, Chopper? Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Thank you. John Wayne, yep. Everything to do with John Wayne. You know, you see a bad guy and he's pointing a gun at a helpless person. John Wayne would walk up and take that pistol and pistol whip him. And then pick up the guy who was getting bullied, dust him off, and show him how to tote that thing. Rootiness, tootiness. I think the country went to constitutional carry, Frank. We used to have BB gun wars out in the desert. Man, it used to get brutal. How stupid was that? How do I still have my eyeballs? Yeah, America was born on being bullied. We don't like bullies. We don't want to be bullied. We know what that felt like, and we don't like it. We're not going to have it. Yeah, there was a shooting, I think at the parade. I just find it strange because, things like murder are illegal. You can get the death penalty, for murder. But that doesn't seem to stop people. There's murders every day. There's no greater penalty for a crime than for murder. It doesn't matter if it's illegal, and it doesn't matter the punishment. People are still going to do it. Oh man, I love the Old West. Shows like Gunsmoke, Bonanza. Yeah, I don't care what anybody says. I always carry. Because when the shit pops off, unfortunately, I'm going to be that dumbass that gets right in the middle of it. Yeah, I agree. And there's always tendencies too. I don't know. That just made me think of Germany for some reason. Yeah, ARs shoot a lot smoother. Shotguns are just fun. Oh, that's cool. I mean, a shotgun will do for home invasion. I mean, as long as they don't have a handgun or something. See, that's the part that scares me. Like criminals that are going to break into your house, they're going to come into your house and they could potentially have like a real gun. Let's say you have no guns in your country. Doesn't mean that these criminals weren't able to find one. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's just scary to me. Or to say there are no guns and somebody comes into your house and they're carrying a damn fucking sword or something that's sharp as hell. They just start slicing people. So then you got to walk around like it's the medieval times. Whoever has the biggest damn Braveheart sword. And now they got to outlaw swords. Okay. So what's next? It just keeps going and going and going. Never ends. Yep. It happens everywhere. I mean, you could take away all the guns in the world, and you're not going to stop mass murder. You're just going to stop how they do it. Snap your fingers and all the guns disappear right now. Instead of in the news of hearing about a gun killing people, you're going to hear about a vehicle running over a group of people, or a guy doing a mass stabbing, or a guy making a bomb. It doesn't matter. It's not the tool. A car is not going to fix itself. Somebody has to pick up the tools and fix it. You know, so people don't kill themselves. They pick up tools to do that job, that task. You know, they can't just snap their fingers. These things are just tools. You need to go past that and ask what is causing these people to want to kill people. It's their disconnect. It's psychotropic drugs. You know, it's all this, it's this lack of morals and character. But when I say these things, it's like I'm talking like I sound crazy or something. Well, that's scary. See, that's the thing, Jenny. It's like if they tell you you can't carry it, it's your life is what's important. So those laws wouldn't stop me. You know what I mean? And those laws aren't going to stop criminals either. You know, there was these ladies recently that were going into stores and they're putting all their stuff. They get all their expensive clothes and their sunglasses and all this stuff bagged up. And the second that the cashier would ask for, payment, they would mace the cashier and nobody would see it. She would just be so disoriented. She would just kind of put her head down and kind of like turn away. But by then they have their bags walking out and everybody's like, what's going on with this lady? It's treacherous. Yeah, AR-15s, if you get like a 10-inch barrel, would be pretty good. Not too much kick. Put a nice little red dot on there. You don't have to worry about nothing. Just look through that little lens. Put that dot on your target. Boom. How secure. Yeah, that's awful. Some people are like, dang, that gun. How'd that gun wake up in the morning and go and do all that? There's no mention of the perpetrator. Knife and pepper spray. To be honest, pepper spray will do the trick. If you can get the jump on somebody, boom, just mace them real quick. You're good. Dip on out. Or you can think about maybe chipping a tooth and then taking off. Whatever. Yep. Had rifle since I was 18 and been concealed carrying since I was 21. Anarchist cookbook. I had that thing. Man, I made so many crazy things from that book. Yeah, that thing's dangerous. See, when he was a teenager, he was a damn anarchist making bombs in front of the school, and now he's a successful realtor. See the thin line there? Now, if he was with a group of dumbasses and they're like, hey, let's put this bomb on somebody, it just takes like one dumb decision for you're making a bomb outside of a school to making a bomb and then hurting somebody with said bomb or something. God, that's horrible. Yeah, both my parents are first generation. On both sides. German, Norwegian, and Mexican, or if you want to call it Spanish Indian. Smith & Wesson, I'm not a big fan of Smith & Wesson. Keep the hollow points only for home protection. Don't want anything going through the walls, hitting my neighbors. Yeah, gun safety is important. I mean, it's no different than driving a car, you know. You don't put your car in neutral on a hill and then go play in front of it. You know what I mean? It really is common sense. Doing that could kill you just as easy as a gun. You know, you don't open your door on a freeway and jump out of your car. You know, that will most likely kill you. But that's the same. It takes the same effort to open your car door and lean out of a moving vehicle as it does to load a weapon. So, I mean, it's just common sense, really. Yeah, and some mistakes, you know, there's no redos. Same goes for heavy machinery or table saws, you know, anything. You make a mistake, your hand could be gone. Pepper spray, nut kick, and run. Yep. I'm a fan of the tooth chipper. You know, when you hit somebody in the gut, boom, real hard, and they're like, oh, boom. As soon as they go down, that's like the perfect opportunity to chip the tooth. Just like, bah. Maybe like a straight right hand or like a quick little jab. It's a tooth chipper. Pretty sure you can do the same thing with pepper spray. You know, they're like, my eyes. And then you just like, get them. Take out that front little tooth. I'm a big fan of self-defense.
Two teens charged in connection with shooting and killing their friend earlier this month are now facing more charges for a drive-by shooting.
Yeah, the boys were released on bond after the death of their friend. He was killed after the boys took turns shooting at a...
Bogey says, Sleuth, how often do you go to the shooting range? I really don't go to the shooting range. I go out to, you know, open areas where it's legal to shoot. When there's not fire restrictions. So usually when I go camping, I'll just bring all my ammo and all my stuff and get some practice then and there.
each other while wearing a bulletproof vest. Today, Channel 9's Ashley Edlin asked whether their parents could be facing charges.
Ocala police told me it would be up to the state attorney's office, so I went to them and asked, and they said after the homicide incident, they did look into it.
Me too, Callie.
17-year-old Joshua Vining and 17-year-old Colton Whitler were both charged in connection with shooting and killing their friend, 16-year-old Christopher Broad Jr. They told Bellevue police they were with a group of boys who were taking turns wearing a bulletproof vest and shooting at each other. Vining facing a manslaughter charge, Whitler charged with lying to police about what happened, but released on bond. Now, just weeks later, police arrested them for another crime, this time a drive-by shooting April 27th.
Do we know who the guns belong to?
Not at this point.
But police say one thing is
Vanessa says, did anyone see the story of the YouTuber that hurt the other YouTuber? No, I didn't see that. What is this? What are you referring to? Callie says, good idea to learn how to make your own ammo as well. Yep, reloading, I think, is very important. Plus, it saves money. I don't do it, but I pretty much stockpiled ammunition, so I'm good.
Clear to them.
I think widely across the law enforcement community that it's probably echoed time and time again. They were charged with manslaughter, but had they been held without bond, then obviously this may not have happened.
I asked the state attorney's office if Vining and Whitler's parents could face any charges in this. They told me they looked into the possibility of charging Vining's father, John, after the April 3rd homicide, but say there wasn't enough evidence there.
Nice.
John hung up today when I tried to call. Now, I did talk to Whitler's dad today over the phone. When I asked him about the latest incident, he told me they did not raise him to do that. He told me his son was only a witness in the other shooting. Reporting in Ocala, Ashley Edlin, Channel 9, Eyewitness.
Crazy. These guys are nuts. Oh, yes. Doug from Northport, who covered the Gabby Petito case. Oh, Doug. Yeah, I know Doug. What happened? Did he got into an altercation with another YouTuber? What? Are you serious? Oh my gosh. See, you can't play around. You guys think it's all a big game. It's only a game until it's not. That's terrifying. I'm gonna have to take a look at the details on that. What happened? You guys know the details? Oh, okay. So this was like a personal thing. I thought this was like over some kind of beef, because that dude does like to beef. Like, those guys are crazy. I think it's like a reality show or something. It's weird. Who is my favorite Beatle? Probably have to say Lennon. Yeah, Doug, I hope you're doing okay, man. I mean, I don't know the circumstances. Yeah, don't forget, you can take justice into your own hands. It is possible. Just know the risks. Steenberg or something similar. Steenberg. That's crazy. Okay, so I think I caught a glimpse of all of that stuff that was going on. Maybe there was a video or something that I seen. Sure, Omar. We can talk about Abby and Libby anytime. It's on your mind. I mean, my channel's not called Delphi channel. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's the case that we're devoted to. But you know, we're not going to be outraged every second just because you're outraged at the moment. I think the FBI is still working on that case. They're still helping. They're still providing anything needed over state lines. Specifically important with the whole Nevada stuff, I'm sure. Yep, we're just hanging out, Omar. But yeah, I'm always down to talk about that case. That case was the tipping point for me. If it wasn't for that case, you guys probably would never even know who I was. I was working on this for a Delphi show. I was going to do something in regards to the mask. Possibly, you know, everybody keeps asking me, is it possible they're wearing a lifelike mask? To me, I think it is possible. I've had retired investigators, retired law enforcement, even CD, who's retired law enforcement, said, dude, that could possibly be a lifelike mask. So I have a whole show that I was planning on doing for Delphi. But I think I'm just going to share it with you guys as we hang out.
Like these all the time, and maybe you recognize the person in the video, but your eyes can deceive you even about your own child.
Yeah, that's really true. And tonight we actually show you a stunning local case that will make you scratch your head a little bit and wonder if what you just saw was indeed real.
And it also illuminates what prosecutors say is a real problem. Eyewitness accounts. They say they're so unreliable, they may just be the worst kind of evidence.
In 2010, he held up multiple tri-state banks, and the surveillance video hit probably every newscast in Cincinnati.
It's something you would see in a Hollywood movie. I don't think any of us has seen anybody do anything like this.
Talks about killing cops. This is the bank robber.
We believe to be an African-American male.
Hamilton County prosecutor Joe Dieter says people were convinced they knew this guy.
We had it on video.
They pointed at the same guy, the same house. They were sure it was this man.
We put out a Crime Stoppers tip, and we got about 5 or 6, 7 phone calls. I know that guy. He lives on this street. He lives in this particular house. And when the detectives went to that house, they knocked on the door. His mom answered it. She said, I know why you're here. I just saw on television my son robbing a bank.
This is that woman's son. Take a look. He looks incredibly like the guy in the surveillance video. Police took the son, whose identity we were not given, into custody. Then they got a call from another woman who said they had the wrong guy, that it was her boyfriend who robbed the bank, and this is her boyfriend, Conrad Zerdiak.
Actual
Thanks, Mom.
perpetrator was white as could be. He had bought a theatrical mask from Beverly Hills, which cost a few $1,000s. And it's very lifelike, and he had it on, and it looks like the guy they called Crime Stoppers about.
I mean, his mom said.
His mother said it.
He did it.
He did.
Wow.
It looked just like her son.
Sunglasses covered Zerdiak's blue eyes. Gloves covered his hands.
That just tells you don't believe what you see all the time, because you could be dead wrong.
Joe Dieters will no longer take one person's word for it, ever since this man was wrongly imprisoned for rape based on one person's identification.
You can't rely solely on identification. It's a recipe for some type of disaster. And I think a disaster is an innocent person in prison.
He says eyewitness accounts are the worst kind of evidence.
I would consider identification as one piece of evidence. It should never be the only piece of evidence.
Well, Conrad Zerdiak will be in prison for that robbery and other robberies until 2035. And we want to show you something. The prosecutor let us borrow this. This is the mask used in that crime. It has been sitting at my desk now for about a week, freaking everyone out.
The whole newsroom.
Yeah, I mean, it's really, it's unbelievably lifelike. And the poor guy who just happened to look like it did nothing wrong. Right. Absolutely nothing wrong. But this thing, you can look him up. You can buy them several $100s, thousands of dollars.
And there are several cases actually across the country where it is thought that people are using these types of masks to get away with crimes. Yeah,
it's really, really remarkable.
I'll attest to the creepy part. I'll
it
tell you
does.
that.
Sure
it's very realistic.
It does also question, like, you got to question what you see. Did you really see that? His mom.
Even the back of the neck. Look at that thing. Yeah, that shit looks real. So you guys thought that one was crazy. Check this one out.
Got away with it. He allegedly wore a mask. It was so realistic that it fooled the police until the man who made the mask recognized his work. Take a look at this bank robber caught in the act. A 60-something white man.
That's crazy.
Now take a look at this. That's 35-year-old Dion Jordan. The FBI.
So you got white guys wearing black guy masks and black guys wearing white guy masks.
FBI's prime suspect who fooled the feds with the help of this elaborate mask.
When I look at the picture, there was no doubt for me. It was actually our mask.
Ian Marier is the master mask maker behind all these different disguises. And when the FBI sent out this alert following a string of bank robberies in Philadelphia this summer, Marier says he recognized the false face immediately. A custom version, he says, of this $1,500 mask called The Neighbor. He also knew who he sold it to and called police.
And what we did is send all email communication between me and Mr. Dion Jordan to the FBI. That guy actually received that exact mask at his home address under his own name.
With Marier's help, the cops tracked down Jordan for questioning. And while he has yet to be charged in the bank robberies, he is now in custody on other charges. They also say he's confessed to murder since his arrest.
This young man, if convicted, is going to be going away for a very long time.
A tough reality he may have to face.
It's the first time for us that something like that happened. I sincerely hope it will be the last.
I'd love to see it.
See, I think the moral of this story is that people, when they're trying to get something done that's against the law or to victimize somebody, in their mind, they don't want to get caught. Maybe they don't even want to do the deed. Maybe they're having some mental issues or some conflict about it. But either way, they're going to do it, and they don't want to get caught. So they're going to go through extreme measures not to get caught. And these masks are a perfect example. Before we continue on with these crazy videos of these lifelike masks, I forgot to show you guys another story that I found. This one's pretty interesting. Let's take a look at it real quick.
Prosecuted as an adult, 13's Kimberly Donahue was the only media in the courtroom at today's waiver hearing. Kim, what comes next in this case?
Well, Judge Jarian Dernovish said in court he does not like waiving juveniles to adult status, but said, quote, law is the law, and told Amadeus Blue Meyer he needs to pay the price. Judge Dernovish considered 8 factors when deciding if Blue Meyer needed to be prosecuted as an adult for the death of Hester Workman. The factors include the seriousness of the case, the sophistication of the crime, and previous behavior of the defendant. All 8 factors ruled in favor of the the prosecution.
Mass
Workman was found dead in the garage of her home on James Street, April 24th. Security footage from neighbors showed a person running down the street with a baseball bat. That person was later identified as Blue Meyer, a friend of Workman's son. Shawnee County District Attorney Mike Kage says Blue Meyer's charges will be the same in the adult case, which includes a premeditated first-degree murder charge. He says juvenile court limits the penalties that can be pursued, which is why his office took this course of action.
When we come across something, that merits a first-degree murder charge, as we have in this case, we're always going to seek to prosecute that individual as an adult, and so that's what we've done here.
If found guilty, Blue Meyer could face life in prison. Members of Workman's family did not wish to speak on camera, but told me they are relieved with today's ruling and grateful for the work of the detectives in this case. Blue Meyer will also be prosecuted as an adult in a separate sex crimes case. No trial date has been set yet, Joe.
All righty, Kimberly, thank you very much. And as you said, we will follow along.
So this case was crazy. I was looking into it. So apparently this guy was hanging out with his friend, and his friend's mom happens to be a pharmacist. So I'm assuming that he got addicted to drugs or something, decided to kill his friend's mom with a baseball bat, steal her keys to the pharmacy, and then go steal the drugs. And here is some of the surveillance or security footage. So nonchalant. Happy 4th, Olivia. Sloopy. There he is right there. Happy 4th, Tommy. Everybody. Yeah, so I forgot to show that one to you guys. Sorry about that. But we will jump back into this craziness. So we just saw a white guy wearing a black person mask and a black person wearing a white person mask. So, I mean, we don't know what's what. I mean, you really have to know what the hell's going on. You can't assume anything. Let's see. Oh, this one's pretty interesting. You guys have probably seen this one. Yep, Rain Dancer says drugs is a big problem, and the other religious drug. Drugs, I think, are a big motivator for a lot of these crimes that we're looking into, that we try to watch out for and protect our families from. I think a lot of it is motivated by drugs, or if not motivated, fueled.
Tira a peruca dele.
Jeez.
Tira mais.
Casaco. Não, casaco.
Tira a roupa. Tira o casaco.
Pra poder mostrar a camisa.
Tira o casaco, preso.
Casaco, preso. Agora não é hora de fazer pirraça. Não, eu não vou virar. Então, tira isso aí, pô. Eu vou virar ajuda na mão de vocês. Não, ninguém vai deixar com o corpo. Tira isso aí, vai se encostar na mão. Tira o casaco. Tira o casaco. Tira o casaco. Não vou ficar. Tira o casaco.
You guys, why are they attacking this poor young lady? That seems very mean.
Isso.
É só tirar a roupa.
Camisa, tirar normal. Não tem esculacho. Ninguém tá te fazendo nada, pô.
Sem esculacho.
Não.
Devagar.
Calma aí.
Isso.
Bota de volta o...
Não, tem que tirar. Tá bom, tira a máscara.
So this is a Brazilian gang leader trying to escape from prison.
É isso, não tem esculacho não.
Qual é o teu nome?
Alvino da Silva.
Okay, so this guy was receiving a visit from his wife and his young daughter, and they brought him a mask, which was basically a replica of her face, and they swapped clothes, and he tried to sneak out of the prison dressed like his daughter.
Qual a cela? V7.
Like, what the? Like, this dude even put on a bra. She's got a mask on. He's got a mask on. Man, he almost got away. That shit would have fooled me. Like if I wasn't paying attention, I was at the end of my shift, I was working at a prison or whatever, I'd be like, all right, get out of here. I don't even care. Go. You're way too buff to be a little girl, but whatever. Go. Yeah, don't focus on the face. The real person is a young person, you know. Try to focus on the mannerisms, the swagger. It's like, why? You know, you wonder why. Maybe they found some type of mask out there, or it doesn't have to be something super realistic like this, but maybe it was just a lower mask. You know, you have those masks that just cover the bottom half. They make you look like you're smoking, or, you know, something missing teeth or some shit. Yeah, he put in some effort. Like, I'm telling you, like, if I was a guard there, he would have got past me. I'll be the laziest guard there. Find me sleeping in a corner. Beer goggles. Yeah, that would be a bad case of them beer goggles. That's funny. All right, check this one out.
Elaborate mask. Police in Westmoreland County say a man put this on and made threats that prompted an early dismissal at 2 high schools. Students at Norwin and Jeanette were sent home early while police were looking for that guy. Megan Schiller has more. She's live now in North Huntington. Megan.
Well, Ken, the man that they thought that they were looking for turned out to be a whole lot younger behind the expensive mask he was on. When he was being walked out of the police station in handcuffs, I asked him what he had to say about all this. Take a listen. Luke, do you have anything to say?
I'm very sorry.
For suspect Luke Dell, what started out as an elaborate plan to rob a bank ended in cuffs.
A gentleman walked into the local Bob Evans. A note was passed. And the notes, there were threats to Norman High School. And
Bob Evans, what the hell is that? I don't think I've ever seen a Bob Evans. You guys ever seen that?
Jeanette High School with bombs and active shooter.
The note passed at this Bob Evans restaurant sparked lockdowns at Norwin and Jeanette High Schools. Police and bomb-sniffing dogs raced to the schools while police say Dell did this.
Got into a black Dodge Charger, I believe the vehicle was.
Damn, that looks like Bridge Guy.
They were able to get a license plate off of the vehicle. It turned out that the license plate was stolen.
It was me and Bobby Hopkins and Sloan Ketterling. We were blazing a fat one.
From another car.
Here he is in cuffs in police custody. And here is Dell early Tuesday on surveillance video. Notice.
Yeah, that's a very Bridge Guy-like.
The difference?
The mask was a very high quality mask. Made him look like he was probably in his late 60s, early 70s, when in fact he was a 35-year-old.
Mashed taters?
Detectives tracked Dell's car to circle. Conducted a traffic stop, then searched his car. No weapons or explosives were found. Detectives tell KDKA that's when Dell pulled off this mask, admitting the school threats were fake and all a big diversion plan.
Pull all the resources.
Damn, that shit looks real. Look at the facial hair.
To one area, and then his intent was to possibly rob a bank.
Hey, Miss Thing.
That's what he wanted to do.
Happy 4th.
He never followed through with that intent.
Coming up tonight at 6, we have video of that arrest. Plus, we talked with people who were inside Bob Evans. They say they can't believe that that is where this all began. That's coming up at 6. But for now, we're
Crazy.
putting live.
They didn't even
outside
know.
the
They
North
had no
Huntington Police
clue.
Department. I'm Megan Schiller, KDK News.
Running out of time, so I'm going to try to finish these up here.
2 years and he was never caught. The Geezer Bandit robbed 11 banks here in San Diego County.
Look, it's Ron Logan.
In tonight's True Crime Files report, News 8's David Goffredson speaks to a bank teller who says the Geezer Bandit wasn't really a geezer.
It was always the same MO.
The suspect handed the teller
That's so crazy.
a note that said, basically, give me the money or I'm going to shoot you in the face.
The Geezer Bandit hit 16 banks between 2009 and 2011.
He has pointed a weapon at these innocent victim tellers and threatened them with the use of that weapon.
Bank teller Melissa Teixeira was one of those innocent victims.
The real Henry
That's
Hill.
her on the right in 2011 at the Heritage Oaks Bank in Morro Bay.
It was me and one other teller. We were the only tellers at the time, and we were right next to each other.
The Geezer Bandit handed a note to the other teller first and pulled out a handgun.
He didn't seem like he was in a hurry, and I really wanted to press the button, but he had a gun pointed at her, and I didn't want to risk anything.
Then he turned his attention to Melissa.
He said, give me both your drawers. I don't want any dye packs, or I'll come back for you. And I said,
Wait, did he say I want both of your drawers? I'd have been like, look, bro, you can have the money, but I need my undies, all right?
okay, and I just handed him drawers. I don't want any dye packs, or I'll come back for you. I pointed at her, and I didn't want to risk anything.
Then he turned his attention to Melissa.
He said, give me both your drawers. I don't want any dye packs, or I'll come back for you. And I said, okay, and I just handed him the money.
Got greedy.
One detail still stands out in her mind.
I know he was wearing a mask. When he first came in, the color of his face seemed very off. He seemed sick at first when he was far away. And then as he got closer, it seemed almost like waxy. And I noticed that there was a circular hole right in the center of the ear.
Melissa's account confirms what a News 8 viewer first told us in 2011, that the geezer was wearing a mask, and it looked a lot like a so-called elder mask made by a company in Hollywood. Detectives later served a search warrant on that mask company, seeking the names of all customers who had purchased the old man mask. But apparently, investigators never found their man. Even if the Geezer Bandit was identified today, he could no longer be charged with a crime.
Why do they keep using that word,
Statute of
geezer?
limitations for bank robbery
That doesn't
is
seem like a
5
nice word.
years. The Geezer Bandit crime spree suddenly stopped in December 2011.
Bad grandpa.
Following his final bank robbery in San Luis Obispo.
Bad
when
grandpa.
A red
I didn't even
dye
think about
pack exploded inside the geezer's money bag. Surveillance video shows him sprinting across the street, further confirming that the geezer was not a geezer at all.
He's a fast old man.
Younger, I'd say in his 20s or 30s. I think about this all the time, and I always wondered, what happened? Why did he stop? Who was he?
David Gottfredson, News 8.
Crazy. All right, here's the last one. Now, this one's going to blow your mind. It's pretty scary, actually. Well, this guy literally stalked his victim here. He's like a hitman. Stalked him all day long. And then he left on a bike. He didn't get in a car. He left on a bike. And this is how they caught him. Geezer. I don't know. The word seems, I don't know. Something about that word. It seems derogatory or something. Look here, you old geezer. Like, you never walk up to your grandpa and say, like, oh, you look, how you doing, geezer? You know, you would never say that. It's not a term of endearment either, I don't think. So yeah, check this guy out. So he's not hired to clean the street. He's just there watching somebody. He's planning to murder them later in the day. Look at him. Wearing a mask, a whole getup. You know, we can't underestimate these killers. And he takes off on his little bike. Just stalking this poor guy. And then he ended up killing the guy right in front of his wife and daughter. But check out this mask. So weird. The guy's got on a mask, sunglasses, and like a weird beanie. Crazy. Yo, coot. Is it coot or kook? So yeah, we'll probably hang out here another 10 minutes. Hey, Derek. Hey, sorry about last night, man. I don't know what the hell was going on. I think I might have had something like trying to update or install or something. I can't remember. I think I figured it out though. Thanks, Bogey. Thanks for stopping by. I'm a jinx. Are you? I hope not. Nah, but we're gonna finish. We'll make sure we finish that conversation soon. If anything, tomorrow, if you're available, or whenever the next time you're available, just call in. Yep. And I've seen some stories. French. This is what French said. BG was wearing standard Indiana issue. Every man in Indiana dresses like BG. I was watching a few videos and I was reading articles about hitmen and how they operate. So what they do is they come in from out of state and they kind of get a feel for the terrain and how people look and how they kind of operate, what they do, where they go to eat, how they act, how they talk. And then they mimic that. They literally go shopping. They dress like the killer. And they act like the locals. That way when they commit the crime, you know, you have no clue. For sure, Purdue. It's always good to see you. Deal? Not when he's in his everyday attire, but when he's out committing crime, oh, you never know. What's up, Peter? I hope. I mean, it's possible. You never know. See, the thing is until we know exactly what happened, we don't know what mind state the killer was in. You know, he could have been out of his mind. He could have been drunk. He could have been high. He could have been trying to walk a certain way for whatever reason. We just don't know. But I do have a feeling once his identity is revealed, his family members might be like, wow, you know, I didn't know. I mean, it's possible. That's why he's free. Something's got to explain why he hasn't been recognized. I don't know. I don't think that we'll see an arrest here this year, unfortunately. I just don't. Just knowing the way things have played out and looking at the I can't say that word right now. Totality of everything that we've seen or been, you know, provided by law enforcement. I just don't see it happening. I'm hopeful, but yep. All roads lead to Delphi. Yep. There's probably one in every state right now. So you got to ask yourself, where's my children? Totality G. Totality. Totalitarianism. Man, that word would just not come off the tongue. Too many T's. I don't know. I don't think Carter's doing anything. He's just there for the public. You know, he's the mouthpiece for it all. You know, poor Kim Riley. He wasn't camera friendly. Dirty Delphi. Oh man, that's horrible. Cheers. On that note, guys, I appreciate everybody that showed up. Happy 4th of July. No drinking and driving, please. And enjoy yourselves. Enjoy the day off, hopefully. If you didn't get the day off, that sucks. But hopefully you still enjoyed it. All right. I appreciate everybody who supports my channel. If you could, please subscribe. Like this video. I'm going to leave it up. It was pretty fun hanging out with you guys. Got all that content out there. If you're watching a replay, sorry we missed you. All right. Happy 4th, guys. Take care.